This is Stefan Schmidt for InsiderIowa.com. We're here in the greenhouse at Iowa State University, one of the many greenhouses. And we chose this location because just yesterday or today, President Barack Obama announced a new energy policy. And he basically has said this: I am going to open up offshore waters off the sovereign shores of the United States for oil and gas drilling. And people are surprised. Environmentalists, liberals, and Democrats in particular, I think, were very taken aback, and I've talked to several already this morning, because, of course, when President George W. Bush wanted to drill offshore, and when Obama ran against McCain and Palin in the election of 2008, it was McCain and Sarah Palin who said, "Drill, baby, drill," and it was Newt Gingrich, the intellectual leader of the Republicans now, as far as I'm concerned anyway, also said we need to drill wherever we can. And so now suddenly President Obama, who is a Democrat and supports environmental regulations, is the one who is opening offshore drilling. I think if this little commentary here has a title, it is kind of, reality check. That's what I'm calling it. And that is that when you're running for president and when you're looking at the world as it would ideally be, you can do things like say, we don't want to put platforms offshore, places like Florida and other places. We don't want to disturb the seabed and migratory bird routes and places where whale and fish and other marine life lives and migrates. But when you become president, all of a sudden you're faced with the fact that energy is a crucial and critical part of the formula for the recovery of the American economy. If oil prices suddenly spike, and they are rising this week, the economic stimulus, the growth of the economy, the cost factor for even places like Iowa State, this is a greenhouse. It's warm in here all winter long. The university has enormous electric bills and heating bills, and bills for running its server farms, which consume a lot of electricity, and fuel for vehicles and so on. We need stable fuel prices and a stable supply. So President Obama is basically saying we need to put online and begin to source as much of the traditional fuels as we can in order to stabilize world markets and hedge against disruptions in places like the Middle East and Venezuela and other places that we depend on. Also, Mexico's oil production is steeply declining. It's one of our greatest sources of petroleum and oil. And therefore, this move is not only to actually bring oil production up, but also to send a psychological message to the world oil markets that the United States is going to actually try to increase, find oil, and build its reserves and stockpiles and its supply chain. And it's a reality check because before you're president, you can promise all kinds of things and believe things. And even when you're president, you still believe those things, but you realize that for practical reasons, you may need to move in a different direction. I know environmentalists and Democrats and progressives and liberals are going to really resist this and be very unhappy with it. But in the reality of the world of being president of the United States in 2010, your choices are fairly limited. And just as with health care, Obama had to basically give up some of the things that he really wanted in healthcare reform in order to actually get healthcare reform. So in many of the environmental areas, the president is basically looking at trade-offs and making apparently decisions that are not the optimal ones that he would like, or even a lot of his constituency would like, but that seem to make sense at the time. So reality check is always a good kind of message to give to an incoming president. Idealism is great, pragmatism is better. This is Stefan Schmidt for InsiderIowa.com.